Hello and welcome to the Browns Blitz. Today is Thursday, August 21st. This is episode number 309. I'm your host, Rod Bloom. Yeah, it's here for 309, a nice random number, but yeah, thanks, Dan.
Nice.
Here with my brother Jeff. Hey Jeff, how are things going?
Hey guys, going good. Yeah, it's been a busy week, huh? Lots to talk about tonight.
Yeah, definitely. And we have our guest Dan Hanrahan. You can follow him at D Hanrahan.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, Dan?
Oh, just trying to keep positive.
Yeah.
You are a Browns fan. You're always battling negative forces, including the media.
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you gotta, I know that there was an article recently written by a guy from ESPN. Did you see the enjoyment index?
That was one of those articles I did not read.
Well, you could have guessed where they put us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's because they haven't come to a game in Cleveland and hung out with us.
Number 32. I mean, I don't know. Look, we made the playoffs in 2023. I know it's popular to pick a team last who finished with 3 wins. I get it. Totally get it. But, I'm looking at the roster. I'm sure we'll talk about that in a minute. And I'm thinking, our defense could be back. Offense still got a lot of questions, right? But,
yeah.
No, but that article, I think the Ravens were listed at number 2, Bengals 4, Steelers, you had to go way down to 20. But still way above us. I'm like, how can the Steelers be more enjoyable to watch than the Browns this year? But
right.
Here you go. There you are.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to stay positive.
Whatever. So, yeah. The Ravens are just a ball to watch, aren't they? And then you got the Cincinnati Joe Burrows who.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Enough of that stuff. Let's guys, let's dive right in with our Blitz beverages. We're going to do this. We're going to do kind of a quick version because we got so much to cover tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Dan, you're our guest. Let's hear about what you're drinking tonight.
Well, Leinenkugels makes a summer shandy. It's a citrusy, sort of lemony Weiss beer, I guess you call it.
Yeah.
And I got it in a Guinness glass because if you've ever owned a true, real Guinness glass, not only are the things amazing, I'm shocked I haven't broken this glass by now. It is a sturdy. I've dropped it. I've kicked it. I've hit it.
Okay.
It's just lasts forever. So I've got my proper pour in a proper vehicle, so I'm ready to go.
Excellent.
Nice.
Nicely done. Jeff, what do you have?
I picked up a Sam Adams Just the Haze IPA this week. I think you've probably reviewed this one, Rod. This is the non-alcoholic version, obviously.
Okay. Excellent.
But yeah, just hanging on to these last few days of summer before fall arrives on Monday.
Yeah, I had to think about what kind of beer to even grab, guys. I've had this one out there. I figured we'd be going a little bit longer, so I went for this big can. This is a pint. It's a Founders Four Giants and the Haze of Destiny. So I've had a couple drinks out of it. It's a really cool can.
Great title.
Yeah, I picked this up a little while back, and just been saving it for the show. So it tastes good. Tastes like a hazy IPA, and that'll definitely last me through the show. So
there you go. We have a theme tonight.
Yeah, definitely.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
That's good.
Good stuff. Yeah. So guys, I thought real quick we just go back to preseason game 2 just to get some quick reactions about some of what you saw there. Don't want to spend a ton of time on that either, just because we got game 3 coming up, and and everything else. But I want to get your thoughts on Dylan Gabriel and maybe some other players that stood out in that game. And I'll give a couple thoughts after you guys go. But Dan, what did you see? What did you like in that game, and what did you think of Dylan Gabriel and his? I guess he played a half.
In a couple of words, pleasantly surprised. As Browns fans, I hope we all cheer for whoever's that quarterback, and I do for sure. And so I was excited that he was starting, and very interested to see how he would perform. I mean, there's the height issue. There's other things around him, some question marks, but in watching him play, what did he complete his first 6 passes? Went 13 for 18. He did have that interception that we all, I'm sure, have seen ad nauseum, and I'm not sure I'm going to put all of that on him. Sure, he threw it, but if you looked at the receivers, one of our tight ends, and I think it was Deontay Johnson, basically did not look like they knew the pass was coming at all, because they made no attempt to either catch it or deflect it. And credit to the player who intercepted it. I think it was the dude from Texas, right? The cornerback. Good play on his part. But other than that, I thought he played great. I thought he stood out. Larvidan Gage is making a really tough decision for the Browns to make, because he played really well too. Special teams, Jamari Thrash, I thought played a great game. That was really encouraging to see one of our other receivers step up and play. He looked like he was kind of more comfortable out there than we've seen him in the past, which is great. We need that. And then I was actually surprised when I looked back at the box score that Pierre Strong's performance was as strong as it was. He kind of snuck up on me. I think he had 13 for 89 yards, that's a decent night. 4 catches. So I thought he looked good as well. He needed to, because that running back room, there were some people in a bubble in that room for sure, and I think he made a case for himself to continue. But those were my my guys that I saw that stood out in game 2.
Okay. Well, Dan, you pretty well covered everybody I had written down. So, Jeff, who do you have?
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I'll start out with Andrew Makuba. Dan, you mentioned he had a great game, and guy I really was high on in the draft process. Was hoping that we could find a way to bring him here, and boy, would he look really good in a Browns uniform playing slot for us right now. But it was not to be. But yeah, I thought he had a great game for them. As far as the guys on our side, Strong, Thrash. I had Caden Davis written down. I thought he did a really nice job on kick returns.
60 yards.
Caught some tough balls. I mean, he just looks like a hard-nosed guy that you can count on. We'll talk a little bit more about him later, but I think he's building himself a pretty solid case. The game overall was just kind of bleh for me. Didn't feel like the Eagles again put much effort into the game, kind of like Carolina last week. So it was. I mean, you could say, well, the Browns dominated them, but I just felt like the Eagles just weren't really trying all that hard. When you play DTR that much, you're really not trying to win. I'm sorry, but we've seen DTR. We know what he's capable of, and KJ Henry obviously had seen him play too. So that was the difference in the game. I thought that was the highlight of the game for me was the KJ Henry pick 6. And other than that, we were losing at halftime, and it was because of the turnovers. So when you lose the turnover battle 2-1, you're going to struggle. So it doesn't matter what the quarterback does or the receivers or anybody else. So as far as Gabriel, it's passing grade for me. You know, he's got a ways to go, but it was a passing grade for a rookie getting his first taste. I didn't see anything that made me think that, you know, he's not going to be a success.
Right.
But, you know, he's got a ways to go. So the penalties I thought were decent. Again, 6 penalties, 36 yards. So the Browns have hopefully gotten their arms around that this year. Hopefully. You know, we just got to get our arms around keeping guys healthy.
I was watching the game with my son, and he had mentioned that interception was the DTR play he could remember. It was
that's
so
funny.
DTR. And you know, it struck me as much as we seen Sanders and Dillon as rookies come out. And I know that we had kind of stars in our eyes with DTR when he started in preseason, but there's just something different about our two guys than when you look at DTR and go, I think we definitely upgraded in that room, and didn't look too big for either of our guys in preseason, which you know, that's huge. No happy feet, no. Well, to a certain extent, Dillon had a little bit of that, but you know, for the most part, pretty poised.
I was just going to say a measure of poise. Yeah, poise. Just what you were thinking, Dan. And for me, at least in this game, Dillon Gabriel's height didn't seem to be an issue. That doesn't mean it won't ever be. You know.
Yeah.
You know, we'll see. Just in this game, it didn't seem to be a factor. His vision didn't seem to, you know, be obstructed by his, you know, due to his height and things like that. So he was accurate, you know, and I just like you're saying, John, I think he showed a lot of positives. I mean, did he show he can be, you know, the Browns starting quarterback? No, but he didn't show, you know, a lot of things we're checking off to say, you know, this is a negative, this is a negative, this is a negative. He just, you know, he passed some tests, and you know, that's good. That's good to see. So I mean, go ahead.
As Dan said, there's issues with receivers running routes. We still have a lot of work to do on the line. There's missed blocking assignments. So yeah, it's really not a fair evaluation for a rookie quarterback at this point, other than what you just said. You know, it sort of passes the eye test as it, you know, it looks like we've got something to work with there.
I think the one of the things that I was looking for in the first 2 preseason games was, you know, let's cut out those free snap penalties that we had just plagued us last year. To the point where I remember way back in the day when we went, you know, 0-16 and watching that team and how unwatchable they were because you weren't even sure that they're going to get the snap off. And then last year we kind of reverted back to that sort of same set of mistakes with pre-snap penalties. And so far, it looks like they may have placed a little bit of emphasis that during training camp to cut down those penalties. And both the quarterbacks seem to have run the system smoothly enough. I'm sure, there were mistakes, but being preseason, I thought, given that, it looked pretty decent. So hopefully we'll go into the season and cut those 2 things out, right? Eliminate those pre-snap penalties, eliminate those turnovers, and let's just play football.
Yeah,
it would be big, in general, even cutting them down.
There seems to be more comfort in the offensive system. And that probably is what's translating into more clean plays, right?
Yeah, and I think there's some excitement just in seeing Sanders and Gabriel throw the football because these guys they both have thrown some really nice balls, just perfectly placed footballs, you know, in their, you know, in just the limited time we've seen them. So it really gives you some hope that, you know, maybe we've got something with these guys, you know.
They were probably the 2 most accurate guys in the draft. That's what the Browns were looking for.
They've shown it.
Yeah, and what I thought was interesting to me in comparing both Sanders and Dillon was, and one thing that does worry me a little bit about Dillon, he's got one speed. right? He throws that fastball all the time. And,
Yeah.
when I look at quarterbacks in Cleveland, historically, throwing fastballs is no bueno because that leads to interceptions after
Needs some touch.
interceptions. It does.
Yeah. And
How many times have we
Shedeur has the
seen
touch? Yeah.
right a rocket come out of a quarterback's hand in Cleveland in December and have it skip off a receiver's hands into a Pittsburgh Steelers cornerback or whatever? I'm so done with that. And so I looked at that and went, well, it's nice that he's got the zip on the ball, but Sanders also, like you had said, Rod, he had touch too. That
He's got
pass
some
to
touch. Yeah.
Floria, where he kind of he led him a little bit too far, but Floria made a wonderful catch. But that kind of showed me, okay, I'm looking at this guy taking this route. I don't have to throw it 600 miles an hour, right? That to me says something,
Yeah.
right?
Well, and they can learn that from watching Joe Flacco too.
Yeah,
they can learn that. Joe Flacco can throw it as hard as anybody, and he can throw a nice touch pass when he wants to as well.
Exactly.
Yep. And, yeah, he can definitely, hopefully, pick that up.
How about on defense, Jeff or Rod? Anybody that stood out? Do you think so far?
The defense. I mean, a lot of guys, but I mean the defense. The defenses look very good through both games. Which when we get into the 53, it's going to make the 53 a little bit harder to pick because there've not been a lot of guys making bonehead plays, giving up plays. Guys look good in these two games. So yeah, I mean, I wrote down the defense in addition to the four guys that you went through, Dan. So and we got a comment from Angel. Angel says he has to make the team Gage Larvadain somehow. We'll talk about that when we get to the 53. So yeah, so that's coming up. So
undrafted free agent from South Carolina. Yeah, what's with the Browns drafting and picking these guys who are 5'8", 170 and change? That's me, literally. I'm exactly that. And I'm like, I must be super slow because I cannot.
Oh, I showed everybody how slow I was last weekend. So past weekend, yeah. So, anyways, at this point in my life, so
we're trying to find our Julian Edelman, I think.
That's right. So, guys, Browns had a minor trade. Other than the player involved, they traded Juwan Briggs in the 7th to the Jets for a 6th. Not a whole lot going on there, other than Juwan Briggs wasn't going to make the team just because of the depth on the defensive line. So, he's a guy from UC. I've had 3 kids go to UC, so I kind of hate to see him go, but I think he had upside and everything, but. I'd rather see the Browns get something for him than just cut him loose.
Right.
So I don't know what more you can say. I mean, the guy is, defensive tackle, strong as an ox, and he's probably got a chance to contribute with the Jets. Whereas,
that's a crowded room, right? So I think if we're looking at the tackle spot on defense, it's and that's typical Andrew Berry to kind of. Trade for that return where we move up a round. I mean, it's pretty safe for him to do that. And clearly, he probably knew he wasn't going to make the team. So, why not?
Right.
And knowing Barry, he'll package that next year somehow, right? So it'll be part of another deal.
Yeah. Right. So he pretty much Briggs was a 7th round pick, so he pretty much gave up 2 7ths to get a 6th.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, that's all right.
I think most GMs would do that all day long.
Yeah, all day. All day.
And no harm, and best of luck to Juwan Briggs, other than when he's playing against Cleveland. So
I think he's got a real chance to play for the Jets. They had I
think he does.
Serious need at D tackle, so they went out and got 2 guys this week. I think he'll play. So good for him.
So,
nice.
The injury bug hits the Browns again. Nathaniel Watson with a torn bicep, headed to IR. Man, Jeff, this linebacker room that we thought was just really, really deep is not as deep as we thought. So
dropping like flies.
Yeah, we'll have fun talking about that when we get to the 53 also.
Right.
So, guys, I thought we'd just touch a little bit on the on preseason game 3 that's coming up this Saturday. It's Saturday at 1, right?
Yeah.
Against the Rams. So, Joe, of course, these are two separate things. First of all, Joe Flacco is named the starter. Did that surprise anybody in Cleveland? I think that's like the worst kept secret, and probably in sports.
I completely understand that. It makes perfect sense. And anyone who's up in arms that Shedeur is starting, folks, we did Shedeur a favor with that schedule we have.
Yeah.
I'm all about the future of Shedeur and even Gabriel, right? So let them watch real NFL game speed against real opponents, good opponents, and then ease into it, right? It's a long season. We all know that. So I'm all about it. What I love is last time was 2023, I think. Didn't the Browns play the Bengals game 1? And
they opened against the Bengals just within the last few years. You say 23?
Yeah.
I think that sounds right.
Flacco started and we won. So I think it was at. I can't say for sure because it's Cincinnati, but I know that Chubb had a big day. I remember that. But maybe history will repeat itself. I don't know. I mean, nobody's going to give us a chance to win, but I think we have a good chance to win.
I just have to say this. We've talked about the first 6 games and the need for Joe Flacco to start. I just have to say this because I've been thinking it for weeks. Okay. Have you guys seen the Bengals play in the preseason at all? Have you seen their defense?
I have not, but I've
have
heard
you seen their defense? If there's one game that we could throw any quarterback out in, it's that Bengals game. And I'm not saying that it should happen. But if there's any defense in the entire league that you could start just a raw rookie against, it's that Bengals defense. Okay.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean we win the game because to win that game, you're going to have to score a ton of points. Okay.
Yeah.
So Joe Flacco needs to start. We need to score a bunch of points. But you know what? It would almost be fun to see Shedeur Sanders or Dylan Gabriel start in that game because I don't think they'd have any trouble against the Bengals defense.
I think one of them will have a good opportunity to do that later in the season.
Yeah, I think
as sure as I'm wearing black today, this is my look for 2025. The Bengals are going to sign their linebacker or their edge rusher.
Trey Hendrickson.
They're going to sign him. They're only waiting until preseason's over. It's all a smokescreen. They're going to sign the guy, and he'll play, and he'll do well. So their defense will get a little bit better. But, we might – who knows? Maybe we'll win that game 38-35.
But that's still putting it back to where it was, though.
Yeah.
Last year.
Yeah, it's not
I mean,
better.
And I'm not disrespecting Trey Hendrickson. He's an excellent player.
Right.
They don't have much beyond him. So
right. We could take advantage of it for sure. And that's one of the reasons why I'm excited that Flacco is starting, because if you have a veteran in there and you got guys stepping up, like we haven't even seen Judy or Njoku, right? Those guys they can light it up. And then, if he has a good day and we get a run game going, I think we could steal one for sure.
Could happen. Yeah, could happen.
I think it's a real luxury for us that we can start Joe Flacco early in the season and let these rookie quarterbacks have time. If we had a rookie head coach, or if our head coach was on the hot seat, or any number of reasons, that maybe this wouldn't be happening the way it's happening, right? But the fact that Ownership has said, this may take us a couple of years and sort of taking the pressure off a little bit. We have the opportunity to really do right by these rookie quarterbacks. And like you said, Dan, let them ease into it in the NFL versus throwing them, in head first week one. I think that's a really great spot, and it gives those guys a chance.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something we haven't done much of in the last 26 seasons.
Right. So this preseason game should be fun because we're going to get to see Flacco. We're going to get to see Gabriel second and Sanders third. So should be fun to see all those guys play. Nothing's really going to be determined by how those guys play. Nobody's going to start week one over Joe Flacco if he goes out there and doesn't have a great game. He's still starting, and I don't think the depth chart is changing yet with Gabriel and Sanders, regardless of how this game goes either. But I just want to see him. I just want to see them all play.
It's going to be interesting because McVay isn't going to start anybody. There's none of those starters for LA are going to see the field. So we probably won't get it's going to be a warm up for Flacco. It's not going to be about how does he look, because we know he can play the game.
It's just get him some reps.
Just get him some reps. And then when we get to Dillon and Sanders, that's going to be real interesting to see how they perform. Although, Sanders will be definitely playing with the third stringers out there, guys trying to grab a roster spot, but it'll still be interesting to watch.
Yeah, and he's used to throwing to those guys. So
Yep.
Go ahead, Jeff.
I'm fine with all that. I'm just happy that the Browns are actually going to get their ones some playing time this preseason versus last year when we went into week one and no one had played. Everybody was in bubble wrap, and it looked like we weren't ready to play for the first several games. So let's get these guys a few reps, get some flow to the offense in particular, and then get them the hell out so nobody gets hurt.
Right.
Yeah, if you're not going to play them, put the twos out there week one because they've looked pretty decent. Okay.
Yeah, they did.
Right. Yeah.
Honestly. Yeah. So, I mean, other than that, I mean, it's still a preseason game. It'll be fun to watch, but we're all looking toward the regular season now. So, we're kind of in a spot here, guys, where we're doing our show on a Thursday. The Browns are playing Saturday, and then cut down day is on Tuesday. So we're not going to do another podcast before the Browns get to the 53. And Jeff and I normally do a show with a guest, Dan, where we go over the 53. So it kind of feels like we're way ahead of everything here, trying to figure out the 53-man roster and all that. But we're going to talk about it. Okay. Sure. There's a lot of things that could still change this. Obviously, injuries and how guys play in this third game, and how some things go down with a few guys that are either hurt now or potentially facing suspensions, things like that. As far as who's on the 53. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll start going over the 53.
Sounds good.
And we're back with the Browns Blitz here on the Fanatical Elves Network. And guys, we're going to take a look at the 53-man roster, but we're going to kind of do this in a consolidated manner. We are not going to go over every player because we don't want anybody to have to sit through 3 hours of us discussing whether Myles Garrett's going to make the team and Joe Flacco is going to make the team and all that stuff. Okay.
Right.
So Jeff and I talked a little bit, and actually Jeff put together a list of players. There's about 40 players who have a spot pretty well locked up on this team. So there's about 13 spots left. And that depends. Even that 40 number kind of varies depending on guys like Judkins and Mike Hall Jr. I'm not sure of his injury status, when he may come off IR and things like that. Devin Bush, guys like that. So we're sitting at 40. So we're going to talk. We're just going to talk about bubble guys and who we think could make the team. Fill those final 13 spots. You guys will figure out who the 40 guys are. Or maybe we'll sprinkle in a few of them, but you guys know who they are. So, anyways, so Jeff, what's the easiest way to do this? Just kind of go by position real quick.
Yeah, let me just put up what I have, and I just broke this out by offense and defense. We'll talk about the numbers of how that 40 breaks out real quick. So I see 20 guys on offense, and I see 17 guys on defense who are really locks to make the roster, either because of their pedigree, their contract, one thing or another, right? But they're, in my mind, they're really locks for the roster. So that leaves us 5 guys on offense, 8 guys on defense, if the roster is split 25-25, right? So let me put this up so that everybody can see the offensive side first. I see 5 open spots on the offense, and I see 6 or 7 or maybe 8 guys competing for those 5 open spots. So I'm going to start out with the quarterback position. Obviously, we know who the first 3 are, Flacco and the 2 rookies. Kenny Pickett, I think, is going to be on the roster. And again, a lot of things can happen in the next several days. But it's looking more and more like the Browns are going to carry 4 quarterbacks into week 1 at least. So Kenny Pickett as QB4 for me is probably one of those 5 open spots. Okay, and you guys have any agreement or disagreement on that?
I agree. I have him in the bubble as well. I think clearly his injury, hamstring, didn't serve him well, and we haven't seen really anything of him in preseason.
Right.
Yeah.
Could be a case where they trade him, but might be unlikely at this point. But yeah, he's on the bubble.
Yeah, I think especially with him hurt, his value's not what it would have been if they could have had him healthy and played a little bit in preseason. So I don't think you're getting a lot for him right now. So
I mean, he's under contract for 2.6. He's under contract for 2.6. None of it's guaranteed, I don't think. Maybe it is guaranteed. So but he's very tradable as a backup, right? So if another team wants to pick him up, right?
Yeah.
But so anyway, quarterback, I think, is kind of the determination. If the Browns go with 4, if they go with 3, will determine where they have to borrow a spot, right? In the other rooms. So we'll get to that in a minute. Deontay Johnson, I'm going to be surprised if he makes the roster. Honestly, I don't think he's shown enough. But he's right now in my mind is receiver number 5. I think Caden Davis, who we mentioned a few minutes ago, could pretty easily bump him from that spot. With Isaiah Bond acquisition, I think that kind of gives us the player type that we were looking for with Deontay Johnson. And I think the Browns want to see Isaiah Bond. So I don't know. Wide receiver 5, I've got us keeping 5 wide receivers if we're going to keep 4 quarterbacks. So he would be my last wide receiver.
Go ahead, Dan. You go first.
I was going to say Bond is definitely signed a 3-year, $3 million guaranteed deal. So y'all know I live in Austin, Texas. I'm married to a Longhorn. I watched Bond, and when they signed him, I was super excited. If you look at his game stats, they're not going to blow you away. but from what I've seen of him play, he has elite speed. He's a Swiss Army knife. Texas ran him out of the backfield on those jet sweeps that we used to love to do. And with him, it's successful because he's so quick that, he could line up there. He could line at slot. He could line up outside. He could play probably special teams if they wanted him to return kicks. So he's got a lot of value. And, he's a projected first rounder. If he works out, that's the steal of the century.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to put a lot of pressure on Deontay Johnson. And you have Caden Davis here too. Had a great camp. I would also put in there, I wrote another guy down on my bubble list. It's Larvadan. So he's gauged down there, under DeAndre Carter, I know, is on special teams. That may save him from getting cut. But those two guys have had such a good preseason that you kind of have to take them seriously. You really do. And so, yeah, these guys are the ones on your left are a bit in trouble.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, for me, part of it, and I don't know what they know, about the potential, about what's going, about what's going on with Isaiah Bond and whether he may face a suspension or not. The Browns may have some intel on that we don't know about. Which, if he's going to be out, then that could change the composition of the initial 53.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, to me, Larvadan showed a lot. Is he a guy that if the Browns don't put him on the 53, that he's going to get picked up by somebody else? I don't know because of his size and everything. But man, he showed me a lot. In the two games that he's played. I know it's against, backups and that, but the guy just always has an extra move and always gets a few extra yards, it seems like. It's been pretty impressive. But I also know by experience that these guys never make the team.
Yeah.
So
it's like you see them. Yeah, he's super twitchy and all the things that you love. You're like, oh my gosh, he's the next, Alvin Kamara or whatever, right? And then you're right. It's like with Floria. I'm excited. I was excited about Floria because he was a Kent State guy. I grew up in Ohio, and he went to Mentor, I think, and so you're like rooting for the local guy, and they never work out. They always get cut. So trying to get too excited.
We haven't seen DeAndre Carter on the field yet, and everybody in Cleveland, if they want him as a kick returner, they better be praying the first time he gets on the field. Otherwise, we're going to be keeping Gage Larvadan as our kick returner. I'm dead serious. And this is how it works in Cleveland.
Right. Yeah. There's one other factor at play there between those two guys, since we're talking about potentially the sixth wide receiver. DeAndre Carter is guaranteed $600,000. Gage Larvadan's guaranteed $45,000. So contract alone probably skews that toward DeAndre Carter. But yeah, he's got to stay healthy. He's got to make it through the game in 2 days.
He's got to make it through the game, and God, it's just, man, if they're, when they make the list, you see these lists of most hazardous job occupations. The top one on the list should be kick returner for Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, for sure.
It never makes the list, but it should.
Like the spinal tap drummer.
Yeah, those two, and those two are way ahead of military and being a police officer and things like that. Way more dangerous.
Jeez.
It's hard. Honestly, the way the Browns work, I'll almost be surprised if Deontay Johnson doesn't make the team, but just because of what they've done in the past. But if that happens, I hope that Caden Davis and or Larvadan make the practice squad. So because they have both shown a lot.
I think they'll both be on the practice squad. If Caden Davis doesn't make the 53, which I think he's very close to making it. I think
him and Larvadan both have been made a case. Yeah.
Right. It's going to really be determined by, like you said, is Bond going to be available? I think he will be, at least initially. He could get suspended down the road. But yeah, that back end of the receiver room is going to be in flux the first several weeks of the season. Yeah, and the running back room similarly. I think, with the uncertainty around Quinshon Judkins, I'm just assuming that he's going to be on some sort of exempt list for the first several weeks of the season. I doubt he'll be under contract. Yeah, he won't be under contract anytime soon. So yeah, there's a very good chance we won't see Quinshon Judkins in the first half of the season. He might end up redshirting 2025 completely. So
you have to assume he's not going to be here.
Right.
Yeah, right. I think Pierre Strong made a great case, Jeff. I mean, not great, but he played well enough to say, "Hey guys, don't forget about me. I'm still the incumbent for that third spot." I think Amani Marshall is, the best of the other guys. I mean, they let Tua Taua go. They released him. So so they only have, I think, the one other running back on the team at this point. So I mean, Amani Marshall's look decent, but I think he's a guy they get to the practice squad too, more than likely, if they wanted to.
Right.
But the Browns are looking for running backs.
Yeah, they're actively out there searching.
I wonder if that isn't a shot over the bow of Judkins' team, and not really. I mean, do you really think we're going to pick up, Breece Hall, or I don't know. I think that may be a smokescreen. But back to the wide receivers. My vote for the most frustrating Brown has got to be Cedric Tillman. He's probably going to make the team just based on, history and all that. But he's got to start doing something. He just hasn't, and he's injured constantly. So that's another guy that I hesitate to say that he's going to be cut, but he's got one foot in the grave and another on the banana peel because he's not performing, and he hasn't. And so he's supposed to be our number 2 wide receiver, and I'm still waiting for it. Yeah. And if one of these other guys can step up, if Jamari Thrash can step up or Isaiah Bond can step up, I could see those guys moving up. But he's another one that I might put on the bubble, Cedric Tillman.
Yeah, this season is a season for these wide receivers to prove themselves, and if they can't, that room's going to get rebuilt next season.
It won't be the quarterback's fault, not this year.
Right. I mean, obviously, Judy and Bond are going to be around next year, but anybody else could be gone if they don't produce. You could wipe out the rest of the room, and the Browns could have 4 new receivers to go with those 2 guys.
Yeah.
So these guys better perform it. I mean, I liked what I saw out of Thrash. And Thrash looked good in the preseason last year. He just didn't get any. He didn't get he got a handful of targets last year, so he just didn't get an opportunity. So we really don't know what we have in him.
Yeah.
So hopefully he'll get a few targets so we can see. So Jeff, Blake Whiteheart, I liked him last season. I mean, all the guy's done is catch everything that's thrown to him when he's out there. But you've talked a little bit about Sal Cannella too. Do you think he has a shot, or do you think Blake Whiteheart is the clear guy at tight end I think
if the Browns keep 3 based on what they've done the first couple of preseason games, I think Whiteheart is a lock. Mm-hmm. I almost think they have to keep 3 based on the offensive philosophy. So I think Whitehart's going to be tight end number 3. I'd be shocked if they didn't make that move. Just to finish up on wide receivers real quick too, we still have to get through roster cut downs. So there's going to be some cap casualties. and also the back end of free agency. So I haven't given up completely on the Browns adding another wide receiver. I felt like there was going to be a move for a wide receiver, and I don't think Isaiah Bond is it. I think he's a project. I think, we need those, but as far as somebody who can contribute this year, I still think they have a good chance of adding someone. So that gives us plenty of weapons in my mind. The three fairly solid tight ends. You've got a little bit more of a question mark in the wide receiver room beyond Judy. For me, the last question is how do they fill out the offensive line? And right now we've got for me, a huge problem at tackle. We've got two tackles that have a hard time staying healthy. Our swing tackle is hurt right now. And the number 4 guy, Jackson Barton, has had a hard time sticking on any rosters. So that's looking like a real area of need. That I'm just going to go back again and say, for the last 3 years, I've been begging the Browns to draft a tackle. They haven't done it. We're going to be picking the bottom of the barrel for tackles before too long if we have even the slightest injury to our 2 starters. So
yeah, that's going to be scary because you've got Conklin and Jones, and then the depth after that's dramatically worse.
Cornelius Lucas went out of the last game hurt, and then Jackson Barton has done a decent job in to this point. But yeah, I'm really concerned about. Again, we haven't even played a real game yet, and I'm worried about our tackles. So So I think Barton's going to make it. I think they're going to be keeping a close eye on the waiver wires for anybody else to add into that room.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree with you, Jeff. How much ahead of Killian Zaire do you think Jackson Barton is? I'll be honest, I haven't watched these guys close enough to know. I know he doesn't have a lot of playing time.
Zaire is going to be one of their international players, I think. Aren't they going to? I thought they moved on from Batika, and they're going to make him their designated international player or something. I'm not 100% sure how that works, but yeah, I don't think
he's from Germany. I mean, yeah, he's born in Germany, but yeah,
I don't think he'll be much more than a practice squad guy this year.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I was just looking at tackles on the roster, and there's not a lot there. There's not a lot there. So, that's a spot where I could see him bringing in somebody.
Maybe they'll be ringing Jed Wilson's phone in week 2 or 3.
Well, maybe not Jed, but they have had pretty good luck with some other guys. I mean, Jed's taken a year off to get better.
Allegedly.
Is what I heard. Yeah. I'm sure he's practicing every day, but
he's practicing with his knife and fork probably.
Yeah, the Browns have had decent luck with picking up guys off the street who have, done okay. So maybe they can better like bringing guys in off the street than they have drafting them, pretty much.
Yeah.
So
that doesn't bode well for playing rookie quarterbacks in the back half of the season.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But yeah. So I mean, hopefully Jackson Barton. I mean, yeah, you're hoping that he's a guy that that can get healthy and contribute when he's needed, if he's needed. But you have to figure he's going to be needed. So
yeah.
So yeah.
So anyway, on the offensive side of the ball, not a lot of question marks. Pickett and Judkins is really the 2 big question marks on the offensive side of the ball, and then a few guys filling in spots. The defense, on the other hand, lots of question marks, and that's kind of surprising when we talk about how we think the defense is going to bounce back this year, but man, the injuries have hit us hard. Free agency hit us hard. We're going to be backfilling with some, in my mind, a lot of guys in a few spots. So They brought in
Yeah.
a tremendous amount of depth. For me, I think the biggest question right now is, what's Mike Hall's availability going to be the first few weeks of the season? Sounds like he may be on IR short term. If that's the case, I think the Juwan Briggs move sort of tipped Andrew Berry's hand that Aiden Huntington has a really good chance to make the squad. He can play inside, he can play outside, he plays special teams like a bench. I think he's pretty much a lock in my mind to be the ninth defensive lineman.
Yeah, I'd write that one down in pen.
Yeah, he had a great first game. I don't think he played much, if at all. Game 2, maybe he didn't show up in the stat line, but Huntington can be definitely somebody who makes the team for sure. I had him listed as well.
Mm-hmm. And then the other D-line guy that I put on here is Julian Okwara. I think he's pretty much a lock. He's got a couple $100,000 in guaranteed money, but the thing that is for me is going to get him on the team is that he is that designated pass rush specialist. When they used to bring Obo in on those obvious passing downs, I think that's sort of his forte. So they don't have anybody else really on the roster of that profile. So I think there's a real good chance that he makes it. Cameron Thomas, for me, has had some nice moments, but just not enough of them to really force his way into that room, which is a tough ask to get into that room.
Do you really think there's a big difference between Julian Okwara and Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, Jeff?
JTS is a little bit bigger guy. I mean, he can put his hand in the dirt. He's been asked to play some linebacker in the past, and I think he was really out of position. So yeah, I mean, he's gonna get some of those opportunities. But yeah, so he might take some of those snaps away from Okwara as far as the third down pass rush specialist.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
But I think he's going to be rotating in on the earlier downs as well. Situation.
You have a guy rotational defensive end versus a designated pass rusher.
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
You have a guy listed there that I'm high on, and I hope he makes the team, and that's Donovan McMillan. Through the first 2 games, he's had 8 tackles, 5 solo. This is a strong safety, pretty good, huh? He seems to know what he's doing out there, flying around. I don't know if it's enough, but again, that's another. You talk about another spot. You've got Grant Delpit. We all know his history, and then Ronnie Hickman, and outside of that, you've got Nick Needham, Donovan McMillan, Ray Jenkins. It's a toss-up.
And so for me, we've got them too. We've got 2 completely different situations here between the linebackers and the defensive backs. The linebackers, I'm scraping the room trying to find the guy who I think is going to fill it out. The defensive backs, we're going to let somebody good go. We've got a plethora back there.
Yeah.
There's really good competition. There's guys that have a bunch, that have guaranteed money. There's a bunch of them that do. Unfortunately, we don't have that situation in the linebacker room anymore because we've had guys hurt and retire and so forth. So, if the Browns keep a 6th linebacker or special teams, I think then Easton, how do you say his name? Macarenas Arnold, by default may just get that spot. Whereas
he'll get people dancing in the stands too, because they won't be able to say his name, so they'll be doing the Macarena.
I could see that, yeah. But I really struggled with the defensive backs to come up with what I thought were the 10 top guys. I believe Nick Needham is guaranteed a spot. Nick Needham can play either safety or slot. He can play high safety or slot cornerback.
He's got some experience too, and a lot of the other guys are younger guys too.
So
it's nice to add some experience.
Conceivably end up ahead of Cam Mitchell in the slot.
Good.
So Cam Mitchell then becomes your fourth or fifth cornerback. You got a couple of veterans in Jenkins and Casey that have a bit of guaranteed money as well. Jenkins is a little over $1 million, and Casey's about 800,000. So those guys are probably going to be on the roster. I'm not sure that they're the best players, but they're going to be our depth at safety.
Yeah.
Do you know if I don't think we've seen Rayshawn Jenkins as DeMonte. Has he played in preseason yet?
Well, Rayshawn Jenkins sort of nuked himself last Saturday.
Oh, that's right. He had that. That's right. He got kicked out of the game. I remember that now.
Right.
That's right.
Right. He's supposed to be smarter than that. Yeah, I think he's going to make the team anyway, but at the expense of who? Do we end up with 6 cornerbacks and 4 safeties? Do we have a couple of guys who can kind of swing either way?
I would really like to see Nick Needham and Donovan McMillan on this team.
Mm-hmm.
And those are 2 guys that can play either position.
Right.
Yeah, I want both those guys on this team. But I mean, Miles Harden and Tony Brown. I mean, those guys have played well.
Tony Brown is your special teams ace. I almost think that Bubba Ventrone's going to make sure that he's on the initial 53.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
It gets really tricky when you start looking at the defensive backs, and for me there could be some surprises there, especially the first 53. I believe there's going to be a lot of movement in the roster in week 1. And that's why I left, the 8th spot for an offensive player, cap casualty. Who's going to? Andrew Berry likes to do that. He likes to go into week 1 with 52, so that he can pick somebody up. Right? I think most GMs try to do that if they can, but that first 53, I'll be honest, the last several years, I've not had much trouble at all putting down who I thought was going to be on the 53. I struggled this year. There's a lot of question marks.
Well, you have what, 5 guys that are guaranteed spots as DBs, Jeff? 5 guys?
Yeah, so I have a 6 actually. I have Ward, Newsom, and
6.
Mitchell at cornerback, and then Delpit, Hickman, and Needham. I put Needham as a safety.
Oh, you have Needham. Okay, so you've already got him on. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So he's listed on the depth chart behind Ronnie Hickman at free safety. Needham is.
Yeah, it depends on which depth chart you look at. The one I was looking at earlier today had him listed in the slot, so he can do either, right? And then you throw in Jenkins and Casey with their guaranteed money, so we're at 8. There's really 2 spots open in the secondary, and I almost think Tony Brown has to get one of them, right? And so, would it be Donovan McMillan as the 10th guy? Maybe, right?
I'm not letting Donovan McMillan go.
I'd like to see him make it.
Yeah. And that's what I'm doing. If you got Nick Needham that can play some corner, I think you're good. I think that's what's happening. That's the way that I would go. And that's no knock on other guys.
Yeah. That again assumes that we put 25 guys on the defensive side of the ball, right? And that it's not an unbalanced offense versus defense. So, there's a lot of ways the last 4 or 5 slots of the roster could go this year, which is historically not the way it's been. So, anyway, I didn't mention, Mike Hall, obviously because of injury, but Devin Bush has pending legal results happening fairly soon. And, he could miss some time as well. So that just makes that linebacker room even thinner. Diabate, I guess, has an injury now. So, we're probably going to be seeing Schlesinger and Baker, a lot of those two guys in the early part of the season.
Yeah, I would think so.
Luckily, Schlesinger looks like the real deal.
I mean, he looks like he could be the only guy out there and they'd be fine.
He's got it. Yeah.
I'll be good. Just put me out there and I'll be fine. I'll get everything. Yeah. So, I mean, I think Mascarenas Arnold looked pretty good out there. Not that they're going to rely on him to play a lot of linebacker, but at least he showed something. And I don't think he's going to necessarily just win a position by default, even though he's kind of doing that, because of the injuries. But I think he's played well enough to, to earn a spot too.
Yeah, he led the team in tackles against Philly. So 7 tackles.
Yeah.
I'll just run down through the guaranteed money again real quick for some of these bubble guys. I mentioned Jenkins and Casey, McMillan, a couple $100,000, Huntington, 160,000, Easton Mascarenas Arnold, 100,000, Jerome Baker, 550,000, and Julian Okwara, a couple $100,000 in guaranteed money. And one guy that we've just not even mentioned at all, Lamarian James, cornerback, who's really deep on the depth chart at the end of it. It's guaranteed $175,000. So I don't know if that'll have any bearing on his ability to make the roster, but we haven't even really considered him. So there's, again, a lot of different ways that they could fill out the first 53. And I expect by game one, it'll be different by at least 3 players.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, as long as McMillan and Needham make the roster, I mean, along with the guys that we want on there, I'll be good. And I'd like to see those guys make it because, honestly, guys, watching the game, it feels like every play, the Browns corners have been right there making a play. They've all looked the same to me almost. I mean, they have all just been playing lights out. It's been hard to track which guy looks better other than the interceptions and and the special plays. So you could build a case for probably a lot of these guys. No, I know, but it's all we have to measure them, against.
Right.
So obviously the Browns have more. The Browns have practiced. The Browns have spent time with them. The Browns know how they are in the locker room and how much they picked up in the playbook and everything else. So, some of that stuff will go into it, along with the guaranteed money and everything else. But just based on what I've seen in preseason, I'm glad I'm not making a decision on which corners to keep. Because
maybe there will be some separation against LA. So maybe some of these guys who we're talking about will step up again and make it happen and secure a spot on the team. We'll see what it's about.
Well, so I mean, comments, Rod.
Oh, I've been falling asleep on the comments, guys. Sorry about that.
So Ian wants to know, is Kenny Pickett really on the bubble if he still gets first team reps? I don't know that he's on the bubble because of anything other than the fact that the Browns might only want to keep 3 quarterbacks. In terms of him getting an opportunity to play eventually here, I think the Browns like him a lot and they want to see him. He just hasn't been healthy. So that's hurt his ability to really have a shot at playing. For me, he's on the bubble because he could get traded.
Yeah, I think that's why. I think he's. Go ahead, Dan.
Because they didn't pick up his 5th-year option either. So
right.
Right.
He gets healthy. He's still the second. He's still the second quarterback. He's still second on depth chart. He's still the guy who's coming in if something happens to Flacco in the early part of the season. It's still something. Unless something changes. So. Unless they trade him. Jeremy, Mike Hall will dominate with Mason. Yeah, as soon as he gets healthy, Jeremy, and gets in there, yeah, I mean, a lot of guys are going to dominate when they're lined up next to Miles and then Mason Graham and then whoever's on the other side of them. So it should be fun to watch. And
Jeremy,
of course, we haven't mentioned Nick Chubb yet.
Yeah, Jeremy, thanks for reminding us that we need to talk about Mason Graham as well as Nick Chubb. Yeah, don't want to let those
Mason Graham, might call him Nick Chubb. Yeah, Nick Chubb. Yeah, Browns need a running back apparently, so yeah, they should have kept Nick Chubb, even though So, anyways, over under on wins. What's the wins, guys? Is the win total? Are they still saying 5 or 4.5 or 5.5?
4.5. 4.5 is the biggest number now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm going to take the over on that. Are we going to be world beaters? I think our defense is going to sneak up on people. I think it's going to be harder to score on us than people imagine. But on the flip side, I'm still waiting to see what happens on our offense. I know comfortable with Flacco and some of the pieces that we have on our team, but like you said, really thin on tackle, really thin in other areas. Receivers who haven't really stepped up, aside from Judy. So until I see that happen, I'm going to reserve and I'll give us 7 at this point. I think 7's so, and that first 6 is brutal.
Nice. You can still bet on that 4.5, Dan. And I'm not a big betting guy, but I'm pretty sure if you wanted to, you could crank that up and get better odds, and crank that up and take the over on 6.5, and probably get yourself some really good odds and make some money.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
If you believe in 7.
I read again. We open with this, but I read all of the experts and folks giving us 3 wins and 4 wins, and we're the worst team in the league and the worst roster, the least enjoyable. I don't know if it's that bad. Are we going to be Super Bowl? Probably not. But are we that bad, really? Maybe I'm just I'm because I'm such a big fan all my life that I've got orange colored glasses on, but being realistic, I do see some wins there, right? And I don't know. I mean, everything that could go wrong did go wrong last year. It was just a perfect storm of awfulness, and so 3 wins to me, that didn't seem nearly as normal as our previous season where we made the playoffs. So somewhere in between, right?
Jeff, where are you at on the over under for the 4.5?
Yeah. I would at this point probably take the over. I'm feeling better about this team all the time. I'm not quite as optimistic as Dan is, but I could see them sneaking out 5 or 6 wins, which is, I mean, a month ago I was at 3 or 4. So I'm feeling more confident as time goes on that the offense will at least resemble some sort of a professional NFL offense, and that the defense has a really good chance of if not replicating what they did 2 seasons ago, at least approaching that type of capability. So we're going to probably, I agree, sneak up on some teams and steal some wins that Vegas doesn't think we're supposed to win. But yeah, I'm not ready to buy my postseason tickets yet.
Yeah.
Guys, people do not follow me, listen to me, talk to me because I'm a pessimist. Okay, I am optimistic about not only the team but the future, and I'm right there with you guys. I'm not expecting playoffs or anything like that this season, but 4.5, the Browns are going to win more than 4.5 games. This defense is going to be too good to win less than that. The defense is going to be better just because of the 2 players, just because of Mason Graham and Schlesinger, and I think the defense is going to be really, really good. But for the defense to be really good, the offense has to be better. and not have the defense on the field all the time. And I think the offense will improve. Why? Because Ken Dorsey's not around anymore. Okay. First of all, okay, he's gone. He's gone. So this offense will automatically be a little better. That's got to be good for 7 points a game, right, Jeff?
Right.
It's good
Right?
for 1 win, maybe 2, for sure.
1 or 2 wins. That puts us at 5 right there. That puts us over.
Yep. That move by
Okay.
itself
Yeah.
is good for 1 or 2 wins. Yep.
I don't think Dan's far off. I mean, I would feel pretty confident in saying the Browns are going to win 6, 7 games this year. You know, and if things go right, they could win more. You know, if they have a bunch of injuries and things go bad and they catch teams at the wrong time, sure, maybe they end up with 5 or 6. But you know, I think the defense could really be dominating with this defensive line and with some of the players they're going to have behind them. And I think the offense can do enough. I think we're going to get much better quarterback play this year, and I think that a lot of it's going to depend on the running game and what they can get going with the running backs. You know, to supplement the passing game, because that's kind of up in the air right now. So, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, mark me down for about 6 or 7. So yeah, I'm right there.
All right.
All right. So, okay. Well, we did it, guys. We made it through. We didn't really give a concrete 53, but I think we did the best we could, seeing as how there's going to be a game played between now and when the cuts are made. So
Sure.
So I think we did a great job. So yeah, nice job, guys. And as always, Jeff, an excellent job on your presentation.
Yeah.
You know, that's why people tune in, is for your presentations. So, so excellent job. Yeah. All right. Let's get some closing thoughts. And Dan, I mean, it's been a while since you've been on. It's been great talking to you.
You as well.
Always great talking Browns. Thank you.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So let's hear some closing thoughts. Anything you'd like to share with everybody who's listening?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I learned a long time ago that I don't actually play the game. So that helped me not get so upset, because I used to get all wrought, you know, up in arms when we lose. And now I still love to see them win, and I still get aggravated when they do something stupid. But this year I'm kind of going to ease into it, enjoy what I'm seeing, not expect too much. Hope we find some stars who rise to the occasion. I'd love to see Carson Schwarzenegger be like all rookie team, right? I mean, he's got the ability. I think that's you know, Mason Graham. I think I'm more excited about seeing our rookies play this year than I have been in a long time, and also just kind of like watching to see how we play, see how we progress, and see how our rookies do this year, rather than expect us to make the playoffs, right? If we show progress and we show that we're getting progressively better, I'll be happy. I'm not expecting us to blow anybody out. I'm not expecting us to have a stellar offense, but that's where my head is at right now. You know, just kind of enjoying to see the good things that I'm seeing in the rookies, watch those guys play, see how this team competes, and take it game by game, you know, and watch and have fun.
That is the man in black, Dan Hanrahan. Follow him at D Hanrahan. And Dan, thanks again for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Rod, for having me again.
Absolutely. And go to my brother Jeff for some closing thoughts.
Yeah, we've about a day and a half to the dress rehearsal, as you mentioned. So I'm looking for those starters to put together a clean and efficient first drive, and then get the hell out healthy. And I hope everybody else does the same. I hope we don't have any key injuries this week. We can't afford to lose anybody else at this point. So show us some consistency and get through this week healthy, and let's get ready for the Bengals week 1.
Sounds good to me. All right, everybody. Jeff and I are going to, I believe, Jeff, we're going to try it again Saturday, halftime.
Yeah, we had a scheduling conflict last week, so we couldn't do it, but we're going to try to do a little bit of halftime talk.
It would be about 10 minutes, so join us just for a quick podcast just with our thoughts at the half. So we're going to do that. So I'm happy to just give our thoughts, and hopefully you guys will check it out. So, thanks for tuning in, guys. This has been the Browns Blitz. We thank you for listening and watching, and we will catch you next time.
Go Browns.